pre-bid core 1.16. I fixed out the last of the bugs. There was only one bug that was stopping us from moving this to production, like full-on production. Now we're gonna be doing performance testing in the next few days on the staging sections of a couple publishers' websites. So you guys will get to see the performance of 1.16. 1.16 opens up a lot of doors. Many new bidders, many new pieces of tech, including server to server, as well as the pre-bid video stuff and pre-bid native. Any questions on 1.16? I will be testing it just on some staging sections of some pubs so we can get some performance baselines. Any questions on 1.16? The other big thing, we are in the process of merging in AdOps floors and lazy code so the two can run together. We'll be putting this live on shared. What we've been seeing is definitely very good performance of it's effectively lazy conversion. And we'll be testing lazy conversion on more publishers also. What lazy conversion does is Felly has already adapted the SOPs for this, but basically the major change is that if you have a pub who's not using lazy at all, they can still use lazy conversion. Let's say they have 5 units on their page. What it does is it leaves their top unit as is, and all the rest of the units become lazy units. The other 4, all the PIDs gets slapped into one ad unit, and then everything is lazy loaded down the page. The end result of this is you get bid caching on all units down the page, and the performance is much better. I'm averaging over 10% page RPM, session RPM on shared, doing this technique, even on pages that they're not using lazy on. So this is a very good thing. And so we'll go from there. Any questions on lazy conversion?
Yeah, David. Regarding lazy, so do we still discourage publishers?
No. You can tell a pub go lazy as soon as they're ready. There are 2 parts. One, these pubs who are not doing lazy at all, you don't have to stop them. You don't even have to wait on them. You can just put on the latest lazy code, and it will lazy load the additional units. The big thing is that's only for mobile. While lazy technically works for desktop, there's no lazy conversion for desktop because we don't know. It's not you can't say what is the analogous unit farther down the page. There's no mathematical reason to know that. So that needs to be planned out better if you're doing lazy on desktop. On mobile though, it works across the board. Now, if they want to do lazy on desktop, it still works. They just need to do more work. It is a slightly longer tag, and that's it. Most of the pubs are not doing lazy on desktop, but some are playing around with it. I have talked to Biblia Online. They were asking about the stuff. The guy, I talked to him on Skype, and he's getting me a test page, and once he gets me a test page, then we'll go from there.
All right, thank you.
Cool.
So, David, does that work for desktop, or is just
so lazy does work for desktop. The setup just requires one additional variable. The publisher has to understand what they're doing more. These really unsophisticated pubs who, if the pub is running WordPress and doesn't know how to do anything, you can walk them in through lazy, but it's going to be like pulling teeth. Because pubs who don't know what they're doing, they can't manage the lazy on their side. I have Kian and the marketing team working on, and they're working with Dylan on figuring out what is the best WordPress plugin to manage lazy, and then we will make some adaptations to work with that. But in the meantime, maybe we'll even write our own. But in the meantime, what it really comes down to is you can push lazy on a pub who doesn't know what they're doing, only if you're doing just the lazy conversion. If they ask about it, you can do it, but don't go rush to get these guys lazy, because it's way over their heads, and there are things that they need to do with their website to make lazy actually do something. Lazy conversion does all of the rest that they cannot do. So like Wuxia right now, Wuxia on 10% of their traffic is running lazy conversion. Mm-hmm. And we're going to end up moving that to 100% of their traffic. And so lazy conversion, the publisher doesn't have to change anything. In fact, the publisher didn't even know we're doing it. But the revenue goes up. And
the results are also good in desktop.
Yeah. So that's lazy conversion. But the general lazy load, which is related, it uses all the same tech. Lazy load, it loads the units farther down the page. Lazy conversion is one piece on top of that. If the pub is going to add lazy loading, the pub cannot be like these total non-dev pubs, because there are changes that they need to make on their website to actually make it work, and we cannot change their websites for them. It's like, if we're going to go that route, like, we might as well just start getting our in ourselves.
Do we have, like, on the current SOP, like, do we have the changes that the publisher needs to do so we can walk them through?
All of that's already in the SOP. A couple of publishers have already implemented it.
Okay.
Any other questions on lazy?
David, I have a question about the 4 PIDs that is required for the BTF unit. So for those bidders that can only provide one universal PID, do we add them 4 times with the same PID?
Wait, so they use one universal PID for all units normally?
Correct. All units, all sizes.
Send me a list of those all units, all sizes. That's interesting. Who's this?
I think Rhythm 1, if I'm not mistaken, or Triple Lift. If I remember. I'll check again.
Yeah. Let me know which ones. Just shoot me a message, and we'll test it out. So what we were finding was concurrent requests on PIDs. So one of the changes we made to lazy is that the reason why we did this pack 4 units in one is because there's now only one lazy auction at maximum every 10 seconds. The issue that we're running into is a lot of these bidders have serious problems with concurrent requests. So, like, make a request before any are even back. They have some serious problems with that. So we made a fix for this, but that means you don't want BTF1 going out and BTF2 going out and BTF3 going out before BTF1 is already out. Instead, it's BTF1 through 4 all go out at the same time, and then we only actually use the bids as they are supposed to get used. So send me the list and send me a publisher who you set it up on, and we'll test it out and see what they do.
Okay.
Any other questions on lazy?
Hey, it's Julio here. Gracie, for shared, have they removed anything yet?
No. They said end of the month, because they want to tender the 30 days notice.
Okay, so, yeah, David, I don't know if you know, but, like, shared gave notice. Right. And we got a call with them, and they said, there's nothing you can do. We were always planning to go in-house, etc., and we're like, it's a bad idea. But that's where they are. But this piece of stat, or this piece of data, I don't know, it can't hurt to share it with them. So if you have that data, if you send it over to Gracie, she can kind of at least let them know about it.
Which data are you talking about?
You said, I thought, well, maybe I'm confused, but you said something about a X% increase, and then you said we're doing this on shared.
Yeah. So we've started this on, it's 10% plus improvement on shared segments. So they have two segments right now. One is running AdOps Floors, and the other is running Lazy Conversion. We're combining AdOps Floors and Lazy Conversion. Right now, I want to have them up at ASAP so that you guys get a few weeks of, hey, look, our performance, like this is the threshold that your in-house team is going to have to beat. So it's basically giving them like a last-ditch Hail Mary of our maximum performance of all the tech that we have.
So, David, is there a way for us to pull out that 10% that's subjected to the lazy conversion in DFP via KBT?
Yeah, it's the M2 page view, M2 session, and the M2 config KVPs. Those KVPs are telling you what it's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have the versions report going live. It should be today or early next week. So what the versions report does is another tab under the ERP section. And so whenever you push a staging version live, it's splitting 90% of the traffic to one version of the code and 10% of the traffic to another version of the code. This report gathers all of the data and does all the computations for you. So all you do is check the performance directly from that report.
Got it. Thanks.
Any other questions on Lazy? Those are the big things I have for you guys. Any questions from anyone on anything?
I have some stuff for the directors, actually. So yeah, guys, if you I was talking to Kian about this. If you guys don't have your publishers, and I'm sure a lot of you do, the publishers that aren't running on the PubGuru dashboard, you need to start pushing them towards that PubGuru dashboard. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys. Is there anything stopping you right now or encouraging you to do so? Because right now, as far as I've been told, and I can take this back if you guys don't agree, but it's kind of ready to go, and we don't have. We should really be pushing our premium publishers to do so. We can even get to a point, if we're so confident, to just do what Google does and say we're not doing the spreadsheets anymore. Log into PubGuru. This is how you get your stuff. So open floor. What's stopping you guys from or encouraging your publishers to fully go on PubGuru?
Nothing, actually. We're just waiting for Go Signal that it's all up and it's perfectly working with no downtimes, and and it's all set. So as soon as we get that Go Signal, we can just reinforce it. Maybe a sheet or a Google spreadsheet available in the KPI document where we can just see which publishers are ready, and we can just reinforce it to all our pubs.
Yeah, well, so do it like this. Take one of your pubs, tell them to start using it. Then 2 days later, tell another one of your pubs to start using it. Then 2 days later, tell another one of your pubs to start doing this. Until either we're in like 2 weeks in, or AdOps or the PG team has hit a catastrophic error because of resource issues on the system. That way, it's not a barrage of all of your pubs coming in and saying, "Oh my God, you're shutting down my spreadsheets, but your site doesn't work."
Yeah, one at a time, gradually. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly that.
Gracie?
Yep. Yeah. So we did not really get a Go Signal that it's ready. So we didn't know that we should push it already.
Yeah, you can start pushing them, but push them slowly onto it. We want to make sure that AdOps, or that not AdOps, that the PG team can do this without getting beat up.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Because
and if they do get beat up, I don't want you guys, because you guys are the ones who are going to get the flack from the publisher when the publisher says, "Hey, you just told me to use this and it doesn't work." Like, you guys are the ones who are going to hear about it. So I want you to not hear the bad. I want you to hear the good, and so we'll find it out piece by piece, not not get all the bad news at once.
Because the last update we had 2 weeks ago when we met up with with Mac and Emmeline was that there were still some errors and there are some numbers that's not fetching from different HBS partners. So I'd like to know if that was closed, and that's no longer happening, or if it happens every now and then still.
I don't know on the individual partners. We'd have to check up with that individually with the EF team.
Yeah, so on my end, Kian knows more than I do. He just asked me to do this. So, Gracie, I'll take that feedback and that you got 2 weeks ago and kind of bring that up to him. And we'll go from there. But, consider this your go signal to do it gradually like David described. But I'll get back to you as soon as possible, probably as soon as Kian answers me this weekend or today about what you said, where that you talked to the ops leaders and they were saying that not all fetchers are ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I would like to add to that. So basically, you could all see the updates going on the PubGuru QC migration channel. So that's where all the communication regarding issues that we're encountering during the setup are taking place, and we're holding a daily stand up from Mondays to Fridays regarding the issues that that we are encountering and that we are reporting to the dev team to be resolved. And there were already a couple of publishers that have been invited, and we've reached out to respective POCs for each group. So we have publishers that are already live for Grom's team and Gracie's team. But there are really issues from time to time that we're encountering wherein the reports would tend to get discrepancies or like for fan, and especially when they are migrating to the new reports manager that they have. So we don't have API access, or we cannot use the old API access anymore for fan. And for those running Amazon, we can't have them live on PubGuru, or we can't set them up on the PubGuru dashboard as well. So those are the only caveat there for those who are running fan and Amazon A9. But for the rest, we have a process in place already wherein for those publishers that are live, there would be daily audits from the PubGuru QC team to ensure that all data on the reporting sheet and on the PubGuru dashboard actually matches or at least close to the figures for the past 2 or 3 days.
Does anyone have an idea on when the PG team can push the new design? Just curious.
I don't.
Yeah, they're still working on it. They still have a couple things left to do.
Okay.
And I think to really push the publishers to at least look at the invitation that we're sending, maybe we could really revise how the invitation would look like, because the piece of text on the invitation wherein they're supposed to register is not that enticing so far. That's what we could observe, that how our publishers are behaving towards the invitation we're sending.
Yeah, we definitely want to improve it. The marketing team should end up working with the dev team to make sure that all that stuff actually looks good.
Mark, can you bring that up on Slack, on the marketing team Slack? Mark?
I'll check. I'm not sure if I'm included on a marketing channel.
You can just join it.
Yeah, you just...
I'm pretty sure it's public.
So
yeah, Mark, find
okay.
it, join it.
I'll look for it. All right.
I had some publishers that when we tried to move forward with the dashboard, they mentioned the discrepancies, like the difference with the revenue sheet, and they also mentioned that it takes a while to load sometimes. So I just stopped moving forward because of that, because I was getting more complaints than good stuff. So
yeah, that's why. The PG team has split into 2 teams. as they continue to add more devs, and they've been working on exactly that problem. That the report should not take that long to load, that they really need to fix stuff. And it's one of the things they're working on. That's why, again, you can start going slow. Just go slow. Like start one pub on it, then see how it goes. Start another pub on it, see how it goes. Keep doing that until either you get bump back from the publisher or until all your publishers are done.
I would say that we should make it work first, and then just like start.
No.
Our
They've already been doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's coming
Maybe
to the
like-
point where we need to be go live.
Can we just push it forward with our websites for the first week and see if it works properly there?
No,
Because
I'm saying we've been doing that kind of stuff. We need actual usage on it to get it covered.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Andy Grums, do you have any comments?
The same concern for me, Julio, same as Greasy. So it's more on the reliability side. So we'll follow David's suggestion on that one, starting next week.
Okay.
Yeah. As soon as you get any bump back from a pub, that's why I said do one day, then wait 2 days. If you get bump back from a pub saying, "Oh man, this sucks," or "This is not working," then you can pause all the moving of any pubs and just keep them on the revenue sheets. But this should provide enough pressure to the dev team to make sure that they're doing the right stuff.
Copy. Thank you.
Yeah, just a quick update though, because I'm still waiting for Hope to finalize the testing on the invite. Because previously we had an issue wherein the publisher received like 54 invites in a day, so that's still on the work.
Terrible.
Yeah. So we're. Do you have any suggestion, like as to what would be the best number of times for follow up? Because I initially suggested that at least one per day.
No, what?
I think that's too
For the
much.
public at
One
all?
per day.
One per day is insane. No,
I
like one per month at most. Like maybe once a week. One per day. That's still insanity.
Okay, because the invite is only valid for 14 days. Once the publisher doesn't sign up within 14 days, the invitation URL expires. So
Right.
yeah, well, if it's only one for 15 days, then I would like to get everyone's consensus on this.
Yeah, I think
Is
twice
the
per
CC
month is
option?
okay.
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah, go ahead, Grace.
Yeah, the CC option is working. I tested it. So if you are the publisher in charge of if you are the AdOps rather in charge of the publisher, you get CC'd on the invitation.
Okay, then we can take the follow-ups. I mean, we can take charge of the follow-ups, and then if it expires, then that's the only time they should get something from your team. I don't know.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
All right. Well, we can go that route as well.
Yeah, do that. That's perfect.
Hey Mark, I have a question in regards to the PG migration tracker. So can we rely the setup completion percentage here?
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's being taken from the same tracker that was shared previously. So we'll still have to come up on how to simplify the tracker because it got convoluted as time goes by. But yeah, the percentage is. So I think I have to discuss with you guys as well how to read the figures that I'm sending on the report, because initially that was intended for the reporting for on the Pub Guru channel, wherein we send that report for Kian to view and the dev team.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Just another.
Any other things?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
keep going.
Yeah, so aside from sometimes the dashboard is slow and some inaccurate or discrepancies, I think there's also an issue on the navigation. While I was creating the tutorial video, I was having a hard time, to be honest, using it. So that's the reason why I'm curious on when the dev team can produce or push the
Get the
new
version.
design live.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jose about what's their sprint backlog look like on that.
Okay.
And I know they've been working on it. They've been working on it for a while, but I'm like, I agree with you. I'm like, we need to get this live. We need to get this live.
Yeah.
So, Felly, is that a reason to like not move forward with it? Like, to me, if you can't follow it, then I don't think we should do this anymore. That's good enough reason to at least investigate that and just not onboard publishers just yet.
I mean, I was able to do a tutorial video and I shared it with Mark's team. And I'm not sure if you guys shared it with the publishers already. But yeah, it's a bit confusing navigating around it, especially for a user that's not very familiar with the interface.
Here's the thing: even if it was the easiest thing to use in the world right now, and if it's changing, why don't we just wait until it changes?
I'm fine with that.
Right? I mean, but it depends. If it's going to change, if it's going to change in 6 months, then we'll go forward. If it's going to change next week, then we won't.
Right. We'll talk to Jose on that.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And also regarding the slow load time, that's one issue that we've already raised to the dev team like 2 months back.
Yeah, and they were working on that extensively. The problem, the way their stuff is set, it should take less than 5 seconds always.
Yeah,
if it's taking more than that, then there's a serious problem still.
But if because we did ask like if there are any updates being pushed, it at least should be done like on the off-peak hours of their publishers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but if we were also to analyze the usage of those publishers that already registered and invited, it's sporadic, so they don't use it regularly, and we might not get the most updated update as to the load time from them. But if we have our own test, like dashboard to test the load time, I think that would also help.
Yeah, they're doing a ton of those things.
All right, thanks.
So I'll get word from Jose on how long it is until he expects to have the redesign done, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, David.
Any other things from anyone or anything?
Hey, David, I saw that I was working on the line items item.
Yeah, in Colombia.
Yeah, is that close to being fixed or?
Yeah, he's working on it. No, he's working on it now. But I told him, I was like, before you run it, post the stuff in the chat, because he ran it again, and every time he runs it incorrectly, it screws up all the KVPs. It breaks all the KVPs, and it takes multiple hours for it to run to fix them again. So that's why I said before he runs it, post them. He hasn't, I haven't checked the Slack channel in a little bit because I've been on call since. But yeah, that's what he needs to do.
Okay, sounds good.
Anything else from anyone or anything?
And this, I posted something to Jim about like we're thinking of coming up with something about decreasing the latency or like techniques to reduce the loading the page loading time. And if you have like any inputs on that, like I know we can like implement a timeout, which is one of the techniques. But if there's other stuff that we can do,
the publisher can get involved in lazy loading. If the publisher does lazy loading, and I don't mean just of ads, I mean everything. Lazy loading will definitely help load time.
Awesome. Yeah, any like things that we can mention, like the idea is to also get a blog post about that, because we have publishers in the past with like high organic traffic that they tested our header bidding and increased the page loading time, and they start to get punished by Google, so they stopped running us. And also by talking to publishers, I noticed that for some publishers, they really have like high organic traffic. They care a lot about that, and they are skeptical about header bidding because of that. They would rather just like not like monetize better because they probably lose a little bit of traffic.
Right. They don't want to lose reach.
Exactly. So that's if we have something on that we can like minimize and kind of like guide them through, we probably get leads that search for the content, and we also like can help leads kind of like convincing them to test the header bidding without affecting their reach.
Yeah. Yeah, all that comes down to lazy load as much as possible.
Awesome.
Any other questions from anyone? Anything? Going once. Going twice. Alrighty. Catch you guys later.
Thanks, David.
Thanks,
Thanks,
David.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.